you come in with a view to making money, then you're not going to go nowhere. Yeah, I didn't really start off as a waterman, actually. I worked with a multinational company, and that a lot of people produce. I can buy the same rolls with you, right? The price is the same, maybe 35,000 Ghana cedis per kilogram. I also buy at 35,000 Ghana cedis per kilogram, right? And then when we produce a kilo, I'm making about 20% more than you. So whose roll is more expensive? These are the tricks. I'm the first person who drinks my water. So I must like what I do. And it must benefit me health-wise. In the end, there's nothing like schedule. There's no snake swallowing your money. You have it now, your costings very well.
Subscribe now.
Okay, thank you, and thank you to your viewers as well. It's been a long journey. Yeah, I didn't really start off as a waterman, actually. I worked with a multinational company, and that is where I actually gained a lot in terms of managing business and then growing your business, right? And then somewhere along the line, I had to exit. And then when I exited, I went straight into the water business. The first time I saw this was in Nigeria, and I brought it to Ghana. So I pride myself in being the first person to introduce Sachet water into Ghana. Yeah, so that is how it all started.
So you said you work with a multinational company.
Yeah.
Out of every other businesses in the world, you chose to start a water business in Ghana. Why? Why water business?
Yeah, absolutely. Back in the day, we had issues or problems with the way water is delivered to the public, especially around this time when the weather is so hot. And the method of distribution was by public retail. So you have all your iced water in a bowl. Sometimes they really polish it nice, a silver bowl. And they dispense the water using a cup. So one cup is used for 1,000 people. So you can imagine the pass on of communicable diseases to individuals. Then diseases like TB didn't have a cure. So then a lot of people have lost their lives. And for some of us, I had wished that I found a solution, to this problem, that there seemed not to be any solution at the time. So imagine me coming from Ghana knowing that, okay, in my country, if you are in town and if you water, there was nothing like bottled water, there was nothing like sachet water. You could only find this beautiful lady carrying this water and dripping all over her. And if you feel so thirsty, he just picks the cup and then fetches it and gives it to you. Then go to a different country where I said, wow, this is what I was looking for. That is the solution to the problem in our country, where you could have your own sachet water where you don't need to share cups. So when I brought it home, I went straight into it and had to figure it out because there was nothing like, I just saw sachet water, how they put the water in. I didn't have any idea, right? But I brought a sample of the sachet to Ghana and I had to figure out that there was no machine and what have you. So if I had to produce this water, right, being the leading brand in the country, how was I going to figure the water in and how was I going to fill it? I remember me going to around Opera, post office, that area, to fish for some of the equipment that they use. The first one I did was to get the sealer. When can I get something that can seal plastics? And then they brought out this machine, impulse sealer, which could. And then I remember going to one of the plastic companies, manufacturing companies, precisely. It was Polyproduct, the Mohanani group. And then I went there. They had also seen something like that. And they did a pouch, which they did. And we took the measurements and everything. And then I go home and I got somebody, and I got them to print, so then it wasn't a continuous printing. You have to do it in pouches. And then after you got a pouch, you need to figure out how to put the water in. So I had to design something on my own, right? Fix something on the wall and then put the impulse sealer in. The first one, remember on my dining table, now the thing is there, we got the filters and everything. We came with just a few liters of water. And then one person had to hold it and then clamp the mouth of it, for the thing to seal. That's how we did our first water, and it worked. Oh, really? That's fine. Then I had to figure out how I can reduce the processes. Like, instead of having one person holding it and one person, clamping it together, figure something on the wall, fix the this inside. So then you fetch it and then you put it there, place your hand on it, seal. And everybody copied it at the time. And then we started, one company joined me, a few others did, and we kept going until it was so difficult to continue that way. So we had to look elsewhere to see if we could get a machine that could automatically pack the water as we have it currently, Then there was this company who were producing Pocky. There's a Pocky ice cream, right? And they were using something like that. So I bought one. I said, well, this could work for us. So I drove to their place. I looked at it, the machine, and there are some abandoned machines over there, and I felt that I could make use of that, So long story cut short, they couldn't help me, and I think that one of the employees saw the need and went to China and brought this, what we now call kuyu. And as I was walking out their yard, one of the employees ran after me and called me, what do you want? Then I was going to beg for the old machine, they wouldn't give it to me. So listen, one person brought these machines. He doesn't know who to buy or who to sell it to. I said, wow, I'm the right person. And then they were lodging at Sanyo, rented one of their warehouses, went there and saw the machines, five units. Immediately, I negotiated and bought one. And that's how it all started. And so we have it everywhere now. In the beginning, it was very difficult to really sell that product out there because people hadn't seen it before. They knew that to drink water, you had to fetch it in a cup. They hadn't seen something like that before. And after I figured it out, I think the first production was about 40 pieces of sachet. And then there wasn't even the outer bag. The outer bag was my own invention, actually. And then we sent it in a bowl to the filling stations. I went to one of the Shell filling stations, and then they saw it, they were excited because, wow, this looks what? But others made fun of it, right? To pick the thing, oh, wow, this thing looks like infusion, the drip. And people made fun of it, people bought it for the site. I mean, seeing something new, but we kept the faith. I believe that this thing was going to work. And some ridiculed you, some did that. It was funny, like, oh, what is this? You have brought this thing for us to drink. How does it look like? It looks funny. But they bought into the idea and it started coming out. People began liking it, and that's what we're having today. Believe in what you think is right. It works out.
In the business world, one thing keeps repeating itself. Mm-hmm. They said, if you want to start a business, you shouldn't start a business out of you wanting to make money, but you trying to solve a problem.
So if you come in with a view to making money, then you're not going to go nowhere. Because when customers get satisfied, they tend to patronize what you have. It's what satisfied them. It's solving a particular problem. And people wonder why I named my water mobile water. Then there were no mobile phones. So how did I then coin the word mobile? It was the same idea. Now I found something you could carry along if you are thirsty. You don't need to wait for somebody carrying it. So mobile water, get the water and carry it along where you can apply it wherever or when nature calls that you are feeling thirsty to drink. So So the main thing is that once you solve problems of people, you remain in business forever. But of course, once you enter, know that people would also come and compete with you. And they might do the same thing you are doing in a better way. The Wright brothers came up with the first object that could defy gravity. In the end, people picked it. I mean, there are more modern planes. That's how it is. So, going with a view to solving a problem, and once that is done, if you're going with a view to just making money out of it, and that is where exploitation comes in. But they're not really there to solve a problem of the day or of the consumer. They're just there to make money. So if money sees coming, you see yourself checking out. And that is what happens to this industry. I've been the president of the Water Association in Ghana for some time now. And I started this business in 1996. That means that counting in the next 2 years, I'll be 30 years in the business, exactly. And I've seen it all. We're the very first people to go to FDA or Ghana Standard Authority by then to form an association. So in association, what do we see? Over the years, I could not sit back and then observe. And then I could tell the trends. If you call a meeting and we go, we found 2 category of producers. Who are they? They are those who've been in for a very long time. They are there they've been there from day one. Or those who have just entered. Incidentally, those who've been around for that long are not many. Right? There are not many. In Ghana, we call ourselves the Big Six. So what accounts for that? Tells you that people coming with a view to making money, and they do everything to make money. Eventually, they end up wounding themselves, and then they check out. They come and then, I want to make money, and I want to capture the market when you don't know how the market was formed. And then they come and then cut the price and everything, and then in the end, they realize that, wow, I was actually fooling myself, and they end up selling everything they go. So a lot of new ones keep coming and they repeat the same mistakes that they are whatever, those in the middle, and then they keep checking out. If you come in and you price right, you do the right thing, you survive. If not, you check out like all others. This is just for laugh, but it's a true story actually. A lady who once worked with me also learned the business from me, also doing side of the water somewhere. And then somebody approached and said, listen, I came on retirement and I got some money, but God revealed to him that he should venture into sachet water. So then I know you produce water. Can you direct me what to do and then what have you? So she said, fine, to produce sachet water, these are the things you need. You need to buy a coil machine. This is where they sell it. You need to buy bombulas. This is where they sell it. You need to get your arrow and all these things. Get a few distribution means, abubuya, what have you. The guy went and got some cash, right? And then was excited to the first production. And plenty of water was there, but getting it out was the issue. You're not buying. And then it took about 2 weeks to sell the first one. Eventually, it was not going. He started reducing the price. After he finished selling everything, he realized that his capital has actually dropped. And it was so bad, and the guy was so devastated. I came back to the lady and said, listen, why didn't you tell me? Why did you tell me that this had a business? Yes. The lady said, listen, who am I? You came to me and told me that God said you should go into this business. Who am I to challenge God? If you came and told me that, tell me the secrets in this business, I would have told you, So people coming with that kind of mentality that it's a cash cow. And then they sink a lot without really checking to know the intricacies, and then it's just, that's basic. I did economics, so I know what I'm going to talk about, right? If economics tells us that, listen, if I'm in business and I'm bigger than you, and I sell my water at price X, It means that I'm selling at the lowest price possible to keep in business. So if you come and you want to go X minus 1, be careful. Because I would enjoy what we call economies of scale. Large scale producer, probably the discount I get is enough for me to remain. So when you come and you try to price below, watch your figures again. And that is what actually happens to a lot of the new entrants. You go and borrow huge monies from the bank and they go and buy trucks. Eventually, they go out of business. They get chased out. The bank keeps chasing them and then they are no more. There's no secret to it. Pricing right, doing the right thing, satisfying the consumer. Rather than satisfying your own selfish means of thinking that, listen, I want to be rich overnight.
Actually, from time to time, I do get people call me, oh, please sell my Koyo for me, sell my Haro for me.
Precisely. So
yes.
now,
so,
you know where I'm coming
yes.
from.
So their excuses or oftentimes is that the industry is being gate kept, or it's been, I mean, there's this gatekeeping in the industry by some big 4, big 5, or big 6 companies, that they are the ones that determines what goes on in the industry. That those people are the ones not allowing their business to grow. So what do you have to say to that?
Like, I mean, nobody is, what is it, gatekeeping or keep gate or whatever you. Question is that doing the right thing. You know, the question is that, listen, I produce my water. It's not that I'm not even running any adverts. And then the water goes out there. You think it's anything after you put in a bottle. You know, how can you compete with the company, with my company, or any of the big companies who actually go all out? And it's not the price the consumer wants, but he'll go out to do the right thing. He'll go out to change his memory when he has to change the memory, not because he's making profit or loss. He changes them. You have to change them. One memory, you know, is about 7,000 Ghana cedis. If you have 10 of them, that's 70,000 Ghana cedis. If you have to change your microfilters, it goes to change them. It doesn't go to the car wash bay, and then they use a high pressure, you know. So then, this is water you are talking about. What you put in is what you get out. If you put in good materials, you get good water. Incidentally, a lot of them, people have lost confidence in the quality of water they bring out just because they have this profit motive. If all of them going to buy or coming to you to come and buy the correct filter media, some decide to go to the wayside and go and buy this, sand aggregate, you know, compared to catalogs of crystallite, which is far more expensive. A crystallite bag is about 1,850. A sand aggregate is about 50 cedis. Oh wow, they think that they are the same thing. What you put in is what you get out. So there's no way they're shooting themselves in the foot. We have not actually, fenced among ourselves. No, because we do the right thing. That's what I'm saying. Now listen, they think that by selling cheaper, they realize in business. They're shooting yourself in the foot. Somebody buys the product. It determines what brand he wants to buy based on what he gets from it. There are very, very frightening figures out there, if I want to put it on air, that it's going to scare you some more. You know, and I could be quoted, hey, the president of the Water Sachet said this. But that's the truth. If you're not careful, you're going to buy sickness. Especially in places like Kumasi, where the water table is so high. So if you dig just about 20 meters, then you get water. But the standard says that the minimum depth should be 30 meters. So you go and do hand dug well instead of proper borehole, and go deeper than where septic, effluent could reach, beyond which no microorganism will survive, just because they want to cut costs. So then people are more comfortable buying the ones they know that they can invest, they can pay for what it is. And with such waters, somebody comes to buy your water, he thinks that he's buying a good thing, then ends up buying something that eventually affects him and affects the whole family, and they all get typhoid. And it becomes very difficult to treat typhoid when they get them. So we haven't gone out there to tell the public that, listen, buy brand A, B, C, D, who are the big six. No. They know. And they are there to see. Right? And they see the equipment. I mean, if you go to all the big companies who sell, these are the guys who come to buy. You check who those guys, they are the guys who come to buy membranes. They come and buy UV lights. They buy the most expensive things to treat their water for value. And so people get value for money. It's about value for what? Money. If it's water you want, please then don't bother yourself going to buy sachet water. Get to your kitchen and fetch them from the tap. And if you decide to then go, for sachet water, you are paying. They must get value for money.
So what would be your advice for, those who are looking at starting a pure business, or those in the industry, but who are not getting things right? Will you advise them to also invest in research, in researching into what works best for them, or they can just walk to any shop or any water treatment company to buy a machine and start production?
Unfortunately, that's what is happening. People want to start sachet water business, and then they go get somebody to drill a borehole for them. And then once they get the water, they are excited, and then they put the water through their water view, and they think that is it. If you check from those who sell this filter media, right? Many of them, my office is the first place they would want to call, and I encourage them. They give me the literature and I read. Most of the things like this watch water thing that you're talking about, the guy came to my office, and the general outlook out there, we have the same measurement for every size, right? So water, you go there, you need your arrow, you need your this thing, and then you are in business. No. He's selling most of the things like catalogs, crystallites, and the thing, especially with the crystallite. I pushed them to bring the crystallite to Ghana. I was using that things. I've been in business for a couple of years, at least 15 years before they came. And then, everybody liked my water, right? Then they brought something, I read on it, wow, this is a new technology. You could do what I was doing much cheaper and more efficient. So I went in for it. Price-wise, it looked a little bit more expensive on the surface. But if you average it per sachet, it is better. But that's what I'm talking about, efficiency. It's effective and it's also very efficient. Technology is endless. It keeps whatever you're doing today could do the same thing tomorrow. No, it came in, I have whatever it takes to remove calcium and magnesium and other things that block your membrane. But I came talking about deionizer, right? And then talking about nucleation-assisted crystallization. Who has actually sat down to think of what are these things? But these are things, I researched and learned about them. Awful lot of information out there. I didn't really know about hollow fiber technology until I traveled to to Chicago to attend a fair. That is why I cherish trade shows, so that when it comes to water, So anytime you go, there's something new. It's about removing contaminants in the water and then things that don't make the water potable. So you could be removing using a particular technology. Come tomorrow, there may be a technology that could do the same thing but cheaper and more efficient. And more importantly, doing it very, very well to so that it satisfies everybody. The fact that something works doesn't mean it's the right thing. This is what I've decided to do. Mine is to produce water. To produce water is not just to sit down to produce water. Because, mind you, I'm the first person who drinks my water. So I must like what I do. And it must benefit me health-wise to go in. Let me tell you one example. There are divergent opinions on this particular one, but that is it. There is this thing we all use, or most companies use, minus me, to disinfect the water, called ozone. Ozone, O-Z-O-N-E, ozone. And let me tell you how far I could go. I actually bought a water expert from the Netherlands to study my system and advise me. The guy actually it's an authority when it comes to water filtration. I learned a lot from him. It's called Henk. Probably my chance on this video. And he opened my eyes to understand how water is and what is good water and what not and what you need to. So he even alerted me about this ozone something. Now, people have even gone ahead to advertise on their bottles. This my water is ozonized. Without anybody really going to read about what ozone is. Ozone is good. It's able to disinfect the water. But what does it leave behind? Is what many people have not really gone to check. It will end up killing microorganisms in the water, which to your liking, right? But the after effects or the likely effect is what many haven't gone through. So when I produce my water, I call Vital. I put the water is not ozonized, emphatically. If you Google ozone, positives and negatives, it will tell you a lot. Ozone is a killer of all microorganisms in the water and carries a residual effects, right? That means that if you ozonize a bottle, right, and then you pour in a contaminated water, it can also but then it is an oxidant. It's not an antioxidant, right? And you know what it means. You know, your body is antioxidant, but it's an oxidant. And oxidants, you know, give rise to, not to scare you, but that's the truth, to the development, the growth of cancer cells. Of course, if you are using borehole water where the source vary, right, and it's combined with certain minerals in the water, could give a reaction which will not be very healthy for your body. So even though it's good, some of us will have to go away from it. There are so many other ways of dealing with the microorganisms in the water without necessarily exhausting to it. And then the bad thing about this is also that I also serve on a committee, right, where we determine the standards for water specifically in this country, you know. And the sad thing is that this thing came up in one of our discussions, that if ozone is that good, why are some saying it's not good? And what is the peer review? What are other countries, those who are using it? Unfortunately here, in Ghana here, we don't have a cap on it. Once it's a zone, it's a zone. We go, and then we open the gas and it goes into the water without in other countries, that ozone they put in the water is managed and controlled, so it's capped. It means that you cannot have a certain quantity parts per million in your water, but here we don't. That's the difference. So they could tell you in the United States, the standards are that ozone is good, but when you are using it, you need a certain level of ozone capped. You don't have because it's good. You open the whole thing and it keeps going and it goes into the water. And there are rules. Even those here, we know, those who use ozone, it tells you that when you use ozone, you can't drink the water until after 24 hours. That means that it's not all that good, right? So then to avoid the risk, some of us, we don't even go near it at all, because I will not be able to control the health challenges that it comes with. And since I don't have the equipment to calculate what parts I'm introducing per million, then I won't even go there at all. And resort to other organic means of handling the microorganisms in the water. If you're not sure, maybe you could use the very common one everybody uses, which is the UV lights, exactly, and make sure that the bulbs are changed at regular intervals. What is UV light? It's an ultraviolet ray, right? That introduces this thing into the water without necessarily coming into contact with the water, right? And it's able to kill the microorganism. That's all. And so these are some of the things. So knowledge is power. There's a need for you to know what it is. And that is what some of us do. We are not just producing water, we are gone beyond producing water and making money out of it. But then researching into it, you know, and making sure that, yes, we'll do the same thing. And as technology improves and changes, we tag along with it and make sure that we are up to date with the world standard of producing water. Because eventually you gain. Anything that has a better technology, mind you, it will do the same thing at a cheaper cost. You are the one who benefits because you are producing the same thing at a cheaper cost.
So, sir, finally, you've said a lot, but finally, what would be your advice for someone who wants to start a pure water business? The business side of pure water business or bottled water business, the water business. What would be your advice, starting from the setup, managing the business, and succeeding in the industry?
Yeah, so it is not, is the word is succeeding. I think you are not for Christmas. We are aiming to produce to make money. We have a lot of producers in the system, and I believe that many of the guys are, they can welcome you wholeheartedly. Contact somebody who has experience. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? When the person has been successful, he knows what it is. What those who have been in the business for long impart is knowledge and experience. Beyond knowledge, there's something called experience, because you go and meet situations where you realize that, listen, this one you haven't read about it. You have never read about it. I've done water, I've done whatever. Then I met water, right? Brackish water with TDS, about 20,000. I mean, what? You go and meet some iron levels you have never met before. And then beyond iron, you go and meet cyanide, so you haven't met this before. And then you read and they tell you that the efficiency of the reverse osmosis is up to a certain level. Unfortunately for you, you think, I'm not the one drinking the water. And so you don't really mind, but you have to mind. And then go for. People have also dug boreholes and have abandoned it. There is so much you need to know about water. It's not just going to buy the machines and to produce the water. And where many of them lose is where they don't know the costs, implications of what they go and buy. Excuse my word, let me put it that way. A lot of people produce, I can buy the same rolls with you, right? The price is the same, maybe 35,000 Ghana cedis per kilogram. I also buy at 35,000 Ghana cedis per kilogram, right? And then, when we produce a kilo, I'm making about 20% more than you. So whose roll is more expensive? These are the tricks. And it takes somebody with experience to get this. You are a new entrant, and that's one of the secrets why they cannot survive. And so, a new entrant onto the business, and then the highest you can go is, let's say, I want to buy 1 ton. Right? There's a technology that you can use for that a kilogram to give you about 30% more than what you do. And then you go and buy yours, that is giving you 16 bahs per kilo. And I go and buy mine, that is giving 21 bahs per kilo. And then mine, I'm selling it more expensive than you, using the correct materials. You go and buy yours cheap, sell yours cheaper. Do the maths and see. I'm getting about 30% more than you in terms of throughput. And then you go to the market and sell your cheaper. In the end, there's nothing like schedule. There's no snake swallowing your money. You haven't done your costings very well. Sit down and do your costings. That's my advice. In business, how do I do my costing? I value my water sachet by sachet. And I multiply it. When I produce 1 bag, it's not 1 bag, I produce 30 pieces. So when the minimum unit is a sachet, right? When I lose a sachet, it's a big thing. But when my minimum unit is a bag and I lose a sachet, it doesn't make sense. I mean, so, it's only 1 bag. You know what I'm saying? When my minimum unit is a sachet, my computation is big. How much do I sell a sachet? How much goes into the sachet? And I lose 1 sachet, I lost 100%. But when my minimum unit of computation is what? 1 bag, which is 30, and I lose a sachet, it doesn't mean anything to you. It's just a sachet. But little drops of water, from my ocean. A couple of millions of sachets gives you wealth. Every addition or every loss of sachet, right, it's money that you're losing. People lose a lot of money at the machine when they are cutting the water. And that's where the trick is. In the end, when you gather all the sachets, how many bags are you making from, a kilo? Another side to the story, people who don't calculate a lot is this. People try to save on things like Teflons and some of the things that the machines actually need, or the black rubber, or the inputs, the things that we use to maintain the machine to give us the listen. Now, mind you, if you know this very simple equation, producing water and sealing, you realize that you can save a lot of money. The integrity of seal of your water is based on a few functions. Function of heat, pressure, right? And then heat and pressure, right? And the quality of the material. These are the three main things that. And then the quality of the Teflon that you use. These are the heat, pressure, and the quality of the Teflon. Now, so if we start off from zero, a very new Teflon, when it seals, the water will not leak. But over time, that same surface being used, right, wears down. It gets to a point, it's not able to withhold the heat. So it means that the efficiency goes down and the cost begins to rise. If after every 100 bags you lose a sachet, now after every 100 bags, after every 50 bags you are losing a sachet, and after every 20 bags you are losing a sachet, now after every 10 bags you are losing a sachet. You know, now if you calculate the cost of it, it is far more expensive than the amount of money you will need to change the Teflon just to solve that problem.